There are two type of load from subject point of view, that is direct load and eccentric load. Direct load means the load whose line of action coincide with the axis of member, that is said to be direct load or axial load. For example, suppose this is a column, okay, and the load will act at the middle of the section of the column. What will happen? This is the centroid. On the opposite side, means at the base of the column, the compressive stress will be induced, which means that direct load, which means that the load whose line of action coincide with the axis of member, that is said to be direct load, and stress induced in it, that is said to be axial stress or direct stress. Then we will discuss what is stress and what are the different types of stresses. Before studying stress, we need to understand load, external force acting on body, that is said to be load. Load, which is divided or classified into two categories from subject or chapter point of view: direct load and eccentric load. What is a direct load? The load whose line of action coincide with the axis of the member, that is said to be direct load. What is eccentric load? For example, this is a column, and what will happen? The load will act at the middle of the column. At the opposite side of the column, what will happen? The compressive stress will be generated. Then second is eccentric load. We take the same example, that is column, but here away from the column. Hello, hello, हाँ सर बोला ना, चालू आहे ना सर, चालू आहे. लिंक पाठवलेली ना. अच्छा 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 अच्छा, ठीक आहे ठीक आहे. Okay. Then before studying simple stress and strain, we need to understand load. Load is the external force acting on body, that is said to be load. Load, which is classified into two categories from chapter point of view: direct load and eccentric load. Then direct load means the load whose line of action coincide with the axis of member, that is said to be direct load. Then here here this is a column, that is the specimen. Then here the load of P, which is at the middle of the section of the column. What will happen? The stress will be generated at the base of the column. Then load, which means that the load whose line of action coincide with the axis of member, that is said to be axial load or direct load. Okay. Then the second type, that is eccentric load. What is eccentric load? The load whose line of action do not coincide with the axis of member, that is away from the centroid. That is said to be eccentric load, which means that that load will act away from the centroid. That is said to be eccentric load. Okay, that is the basic two types of load from chapter point of view: direct load and eccentric load. Then the next concept, that is stress. What is the stress? We take an example specimen. Suppose this is a specimen. what will happen? Two equal and opposite full force will act. What will happen? The stress will be generated at any section. Which means that the stress is defined as the internal resisting force developed per unit cross-sectional area, that is said to be stress. Means that suppose this is a specimen, two equal and opposite a tensile force will act. What will happen? The stress will be generated at any section, which means that the material which is made by infinite number of small particles, that particle resist to each other in opposite direction, which means that the stress will be generated at that section. Okay. Then here the stress is defined as, that is very important concept. Stress is defined as internal resisting force developed per unit cross-sectional area. It is mathematically represented by sigma, that is equal to P upon A. Okay. Force per unit area, that is said to be stress. Stress is defined as internal resisting force developed per unit cross-sectional area, that is said to be stress. It is represented mathematically by sigma, that is equal to P upon A. The unit is Newton per mm square or Newton per meter square or Newton per centimeter square. Then this is very simple concept. Force per unit area, then you can say stress will be generated in that section or member. Then the second concept, that is strain. Before studying the strain, we understand different types of stresses. Types of stresses. Particularly three types of stress. Normal stresses, that is tensile stress and compressive stress, and next shear stress. Normal stress, that is there are again two types, tensile and compressive. Then shear stress. Okay. Then third one is also direct stress, but from subject point of view, two stress are important: normal stress and shear stress. Then what is a tensile stress? I will take example, very simple example. Suppose this is a specimen. Two equal and opposite tensile force will act or pull force will act at the each end of the section. What will happen? What is tensile stress? The tensile stress, which means that if this is a length L and after acting external pull force at the each section of the body, what will happen? If two equal and opposite pull force act on that section, the body will elongate. Body will elongate. Means the distance will change. That is its elongation. It gets elongation. Body will gets elongated. If the two equal and opposite tensile force or pull force act on that section or member, its length will elongate. Elongation of its length. Suppose original length is L, then after tensile force or pull force act each section of the member, it will elongate. That is delta L. Which means that the tensile stress is defined as if the two equal and opposite tensile force or pull force act at each section of the member, its length will be elongated. And cross-sectional area, what will happen? Cross-sectional area will be reduced. Here, the basic, this is a tensile stress. Second, compressive stress, second is just compression stress. I will take example. It's a very simple example. This is a specimen. If two equal and opposite pull force, it is represented by P. Okay. What will happen? Here, if two equal and opposite pull force will act on that member, what will happen? The cross-sectional area will be increased and length will decrease. And in case of tensile stress, what will happen if two equal and opposite pull force will act on that member? Its length will elongate and cross-sectional area will be reduced. That is the difference. That is the basic difference between the tensile stress and compressive stress. That is said to be normal stress. Okay. Normal stress, which means that the tensile stress and compressive stress, that is said to be normal stress, means force per unit cross-sectional area. If the two equal and opposite tensile force act on that section, what will happen? Stress will be generated in any section, which means that force per unit cross-sectional area, that is said to be normal stress. And there are two categories of normal stress, that is tensile stress and compressive stress. Then the basic difference between the tensile stress and compressive stress is that if two equal and opposite tensile force or pull force act on that in tensile stress, its length will elongate and cross-sectional area of the member will decrease. In a compressive stress, if two equal and opposite compressive force or push force act on that section or member, what will happen? The cross-sectional area will increase and length will decrease. That is the difference between the tensile stress and compressive stress. Okay. Then here, the second stress, second type of stresses, that is shear stress. One minute. Here, shear stress. What is the shear stress? That is very important concept. Shear stress. Shear stress, which means that suppose this is a braid. This is a braid. We take knife and cut into slice of the braid. Direction of the braid from top to down side, which means that is represented by force. Okay. What will happen? Stress will be generated between the two cross-sectional surface area. The first surface area is braid and second surface area is knife. Okay. Which means that shear stress is defined as shear stress will occur between the two cross-sectional surface area, which means that force per unit cross-sectional area, that is said to be shear stress. Suppose this is a braid, we take knife, then cut into slice. At that time, what will happen? Shear stress will be generated between the two cross-sectional surface area. One is braid and other surface area is knife. Okay. In short, we remember the shear stress occur between the two cross-sectional surface area. Means frictional resistance occur between the two surface area. And if the friction occur between two surface area, at that time the shearing will occur. Okay. At that time shearing stress will be generated between the two surface area of the section or body. Then here the type of stress is particularly normal stress and shear stress. In normal stress we divide into two categories, that is tensile stress and compressive stress. Then third one is shear stress. Then next concept, that is strain. What is strain? You just understand some basic concept, that is strain, stress, mechanical properties. Okay, this chapter is totally numerical oriented chapter. Before starting numerical, we understand some basic concept, some related these chapters, then some are generals. Then here, strain. What is the strain? This is a very simple concept of the strain. For example, I will take example. You understand better with the help of example. Suppose this is a specimen, or this is a body or section. Okay. Then force is applied downward direction, that is P. What will happen? The body will stretch, body will elongate. This is original distance L, length is L. Then after elongation, that is delta E. Which means that the strain is defined as the ratio of change in length to the original length. Simple definition, simple strain or only strain, which is defined as the ratio of change in length to the original length, that ratio is said to be strain or a simple strain. Suppose this is a specimen, if the external vertical load applied on that body, what will happen? Body will elongate, body will stretch with some distance. That distance is said to be delta L. Original length of the specimen is L, and after external load act on that specimen, the specimen will be moved or stretched with some distance. Then mathematically it is represented by small e. Simple strain or only strain is represented by mathematically small a by small e, that is equal to delta L upon L. Then strain has no unit, because if you consider the unit of length is mm, then same unit for change in length, that is mm cancel, and that's why strain has no unit, or it is a dimensionless quantity. It is a dimensionless quantity. Strain has no unit. Always remember, any type of strain has no unit. It is a dimensionless quantity. Then this is regarding the concept of strain. Then what are different types of the strain? Okay. Types of strain. First type is a simple strain or only strain, strain or simple strain. It is the ratio of change in length to original length. That ratio is said to be simple strain or only strain. Second type, that is a lateral strain. Lateral strain. Lateral strain is defined as the change in length to the original length. Means change in lateral length lateral strain change in length upon change in original lateral length, which means that lateral strain means, for example, the body is cubic, suppose this is a body, it is a cubic, then this is a length L, this is width B, this is thickness E, okay, force will applied, tensile force will applied, or tensile force will act. What will happen? If the specimen is cubic, it has a 3 dimension, length, width and thickness. If the tensile force or pull force act on that specimen along the x direction, that is in the length direction, what will happen? It will affect remaining 2 dimensions, that is width and thickness, which means that change in length to the change in original lateral length. Change in length to the original lateral length. This is a rectangular section, and for rectangular section, lateral strain will be delta D upon D, that is equal to delta T upon D. Means lateral strain, which means that if the tensile force act on that rectangular section, it has a 3 dimension, that is cubic rectangular section. The change in length to the change in lateral length to the change in lateral length means there will be change delta B upon B. If the cubic section, it has a 3 dimension, length, width and height. If the tensile force will act at one section and at the other section also, it will be equal and opposite, what will happen? The other 2 dimension will be affected. Means there will be affected other 2 dimension, that is width as well as thickness. Lateral strain for rectangular section, that is delta B upon B, that is equal to delta T upon B. Change in lateral dimension to the original lateral dimension. Change in lateral dimension or lateral dimension, the change in original lateral dimension. Okay? Because it has a 3 dimension, length, width and thickness. Change in lateral dimension to the original lateral dimension, that is said to be lateral strain. Lateral strain, which is defined as change in lateral dimension to the original lateral dimension for the rectangular section. Then here for rectangular section there will be affected other 2 dimension, that is width and thickness. लेक्चर मध्ये विसरला नाही नाही लेक्चर मध्ये काय शिकवण्यामध्ये नाही. हा चालेल त्यांचं कसं सेमला फर्स्ट सेमला नव्हतं सर. तुमचं कोणाचं आहे? हेच जावडेकरांचं. चालेल. Then here, this is a very simple thing. This is a lateral strain. Change in lateral dimension to the original lateral dimension means for a rectangular section. Then here delta B upon B, that is equal to delta T upon E. Okay. Then the other example for lateral strain, if the section is a circular section, for example, this is circle, this is the diameter D. Okay. If the specimen which is in circular form or in circular section, what will happen? Lateral dimension, change in lateral dimension to the original lateral dimension, which means that delta D upon D, lateral strain, delta D upon D. Okay, that is for the circular section. Then here, this is very simple concept, lateral strain, that is the second type of strain. Friends, हे काय त्यांना सेकंड सेमला सब्जेक्ट होता, फर्स्ट सेमला नव्हता. हा ते म्हणतो प्रिपरेशन नाही. This is a very simple concept. That is, the first is simple strain, second is lateral strain. Lateral strain is defined as change in lateral dimension to the original lateral dimension. Then for rectangular section, lateral strain, that is equal to delta B upon B, that is equal to delta T upon B. Then for circular section, if the specimen which is made in circular form, what will happen? Lateral strain that is the change in diameter to the original diameter. Mathematically, L that is equal to delta D upon D. Change in lateral dimension to the original lateral dimension. That is said to be lateral strain. The third important type, that is volumetric strain. Volumetric strain. What is volumetric strain? It is represented, that is the ratio of change in volume to the original volume. Change in volume to the original volume. If the specimen which is in three-dimensional form or in cubic form, what is said to be the volumetric strain, which is defined as change in volume to the original volume, that is said to be volumetric strain. This is a very simple definition of volumetric strain. Change in volume to the original volume. Suppose the specimen which has three dimensions, that is length, width and height. If the external load will act on that specimen, which is form of cubic, what will happen? Change in volume. The volumetric strain, which is defined as change in volume to the original volume. Okay. Then fourth one is shear strain. What is shear strain? Very simple definition of shear strain. Suppose this is a body which is placed on the table. If the force will act on the upward side of the specimen, on the opposite side, what will happen? The shear strain will be generated. It is represented by phi. Means if two equal and opposite, the force will act on the upper face and lower face. What will happen? The shearing will occur between the two surfaces. The body will move through some distance, through some angle. That angle is said to be shearing strain. And that angle, that shearing strain is represented by phi. Okay. Means a body which is in rectangular form, which is placed on the table. If the force will act, that is push force, what will happen? On the opposite side, means the shearing will occur between the two surfaces. That is, first surface is table and second is body, okay, which is in rectangular form. And what will happen? This through some angle, means it makes body will move or body will tilted. Sorry, it will not move. Body will tilted through some angle. That angle is represented by phi, and that angle is represented by phi. Then shear strain, that is represented by phi, which means that if two equal and opposite force will act on that body, body will move through some angle, means body will be tilted through some angle. That angle is represented by phi. Then shearing strain is represented by phi. Then these are the four types of strain. The first is simple strain or only strain, which is defined as the ratio of change in length to the original length. Mathematically, it is represented by E, that is equal to delta L upon L. Second is lateral